Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Terminator's squash partner, Craig Charles.
"16 heats, 2 semi-finals, and a skip load of demolition later, and we find ourselves here at the Robot Wars Grand Final. Yes, folks, this is the big one. Talk about a buzz. We've got more buzzers than the American space program. And tension. There's more tension here than in Pavarotti's underpants. And that's a lot of tension. Over the last few months, we've seen some of the best amateur engineering in the country. And did we care? Did we heck? What we came to see was some great fights. And that's exactly what we got. Like, who can forget the time when Sir Killalot caught Sergeant Bash playing with his My Little Pony? And the dishwasher in the canteen will never call shunt a big girl's blouse again, I can tell you. But no, what we've seen are some of the best bashers, mashers and sheer metal write-offs of Robot Wars so far, all leading up to these defining battles. And before we shout charge, let's relive the road to Armageddon.
600 robots applied, 128 were selected for the honour of battle, 18 weeks of titanic tussles, 124 contests of strength and style, control and carnage. Oh yes, loads of it. Mushed up mayhem. These are the names on our roll of honour, the names of the victors and vanquished. They've been rumbled and tumbled, crashed and smashed, a metal sliver and slice, ripped and shredded, and surviving it all, just 4 mean machines. In Heat 1, we welcome Matt Mace from the Second Wars. They quickly left Steg-O-Saw-Us, promptly pitted Weedy Wacko, and then went on to Slay's suicidal tendencies in the Heat final. We had Thriller-Lots from Sir Killalot, reminding would-be contenders the price they pay for failure. In Heat 2, the Behemoth boys were back with a much improved lifting shovel, quickly bulldozing their opponents. But they didn't reckon on meeting Pitbull, let off the leash and barking mad, setting its opponents on fire too. The two met in the Heat final, where Behemoth fell prey to the arena's spikes, and Pitbull found itself a place in the semi-finals. Great to see Razor back in Heat 3, looking better than ever. Its powerful, crushing round churning out 9 tons of squeeze ability and wreaking havoc amongst its fellow competitors. But a failure in its self-righting mechanism left it sitting high and dry. Agrabot limped through, but Blade came from nowhere in the Heat final to snatch victory. And then Dead Metal took the opportunity to wipe the smile off Agrabot's face. Characters galore in Heat 4. The Sir Chromalot team arrived in style, all suited and booted. They talked the talk, but couldn't walk the walk, and fell prey to the Big Brother team, led by little Joe Watts. Ultor came face to face with Big Brother in round 3 and won after a judge's decision. But then this happened.
The judge's decision was wrong, in our opinion, and we're allowing you to go through to the next round.
The story of Heat 5, David and Goliath. The role of David, played by Chaos 2. Goliath, first Crocodilotron, then from Hagley High School, Sonic, and finally Roger Plant's Big Cheese. We thought it would be Gorgonzola for Chaos 2, but as quick as a flash it was. Cheese on toast. Only one tale to tell in Heat 6, that the fall from grace by the infamous Mortis. They looked unstoppable against Ming, who lost their weapon early on, and with that, any chance of victory. But the death knell tolled for Mortis as Gravedigger defeated the Dark Destroyer and then sent those Mortis boys 6 feet under and out of the competition. David Crosby, Claire Greenaway and Vicky Allgood return in Heat 7 with Napalm. Unchanged from the Second Wars, they scraped through the first round on a judge's decision. Had a lucky break in the second after Robo-Pig made a pig's ear of it. And although Robo-Pig went belly up, they did manage to get Sir Killalot rather hot under the collar. Just as Napalm could smell victory, Steg-O-Saw-Us proved that not all dinosaurs were extinct. They came a crashing out of nowhere, a smashing and a bashing, and eventually a thrashing Napalm. In a Heat, it was H's all the way for Hypno-Disc, harrowing, hair-raising, and hand me a brush to pick up the pieces. Without doubt, one of the most destructive robots ever seen in the history of Robot Wars, deservedly winning a place in the series semi-finals. In Heat 9, the Eyes had it with the Roadblock team, winners of the First Wars, returning this year with a beast of Bodmin, dark and menacing. It also had a twinkle in its eye for Philippa, and whilst the Witch had the House robots under its spell, the boys from Cornwall won a place in their 3rd successive semi-final, leaving Invertebrate at the mercy of Dead Metal. Centurion and Excalibur set the standard in the first round of our 10th heat as the axes came crashing down. But Arthurian legend, no match for Roman brawn, and Centurion came, saw and conquered. But 101, built for under a fiver, soon proved that money was no match for good engineering. The heat final saw a grudge match against King Buxton. They'd met before in the last wars. Buxton was the victor, but this time they had to go down on bended knee and beg for mercy. 101 came away with a right royal victory. Heat 11 saw the reigning champions Panic Attack return to defend their title. First, they faced Axios, who looked impressive, but even a flip of their snake-like tongue couldn't help them slither out of that one. Toe Cutter promised all of the auditions. No match, though, for Panic Attack in the Robot Wars arena, and it was toe-nailed. Exterminator met our champions in the heat final, but when their gas canister blew, they were terminated, and Panic Attack knew they'd be back for the semis. Panzer met the Undertaker in Heat 12. It was Tank versus Plank. 2 short minutes later, Panzer was through. Triterabot was all smoke and no fire against the Evil Weevil. Flip-Flop Fly flew fast into the arms of the House Robots. Sadly, Challenger didn't live up to its name and Panzer was through to the 3rd round. But there, they didn't get off the mark. Evil Weevil earned that coveted semi-final place. Panzer was hung out to dry. Heat 13 was unlucky for some as Cassius was back bigger and better than ever before, quickly seeing off any early threats and taking time to have a swipe at the House Robots. It took a snap at Matilda's heels and Shunt got the hump. We were kept on the edge of our seats by Cassius 2's agility, its awesome weapons, but then Rex and his team threw it all away. Cassius 2 had promised so much more than we ever saw. In the meantime, Scudder's Revenge broiled Thermidor to meet Pussycat in the 3rd round. But an illegal steel blade meant disqualification for the Cat, Scudder's Revenge claiming their place in the semis. Heat 14 saw the early demise of the Kamikaze Kilohertz. A veteran of Robot Wars, they claim they didn't see the pit. A likely story. Cerberus quickly dispatched Griffin into oblivion. But then the Addams Family thing sent the devilish dog back to the gates of Hades. Our penultimate heat was hot stuff in more ways than one. Diotior, son of Nemesis, took the sting out of Dave Barker's robot. Facet had a flipping good time with Terminal Ferocity, but was no match for the feisty Firestorm, who proved fast on its feet, full of fury. And in the heat final, Firestorm fanned the flames of victory and sent Diotior out in a blaze of glory. And in our last qualifying heat, Trident shone through. Psycho Killer got toasted and roasted. Victor 2 said, boo! And Dreadnought ran out of steam. Trident tested, Trident through. In our first semi-final, it was all over in a flash for Trident, and Mace 2 was left to rue as Chaos 2 sailed through. Pitbull rolled over to have its tummy tickled by Firestorm and then got seriously hot under its doggy collar. Panic Attack had plenty of those. Panic, Fear, the odd tear, its hopes of a place in the final turned to ashes by the fire. In Semi-2, after a titanic struggle, Hypno-Disc gave the old 1-2 to 101 and left Evil Weevil battered, torn, flayed, frayed and slayed. Steg-O-Saw-Us proved no Diplo Joker as it put the final nail in the coffin for Gravedigger and followed that up with one in the eye for the mythical beast of Bodmin. So after 124 battles, we now have our 4 grand finalists. From Ipswich, Chaos 2. From Durham, Firestorm. From Oxon, Hypno-Disc. And from Southampton, Steg-O-Saw-Us. And we'll see those finalists again, of course, in a couple of moments. But in the Third Wars, we've seen a new breed of robot and of roboteer. Lessons have been learnt from previous wars, and the standard of innovation, expertise and creativity has continued to grow from strength to strength. In addition, the sportsmanship and camaraderie in the pits has been second to none. A robot in need has always found a friendly roboteer deed. And in recognition of this, we have our special Merit Robot Wars trophies. Our first award is for the most original entry. Plenty of imagination and creativity. We've had to whittle it down to 4 nominations. The first, Stinger, Kevin Scott's team producing an interesting robot that had all its electronics contained within the wheels. Great idea, if a little difficult to control at times. Hypno-Disc, built for exacting destruction. The Rose family's robots set the arena buzzing. Destructive, powerful. The design came from Dave Rose's 3-year-old son. Now Pussycat, Robin Herrick's robot took 2 months to build, is capable of great pushing ability and of running any way up it likes. Fast and powerful, it's a serious contender in this category. And the final nomination, The Witch. Ozzy and Emma Bolter returning to the Robot Wars arena this year with a new creation. Great design, their team full of flair and fun too. But the winner is... Hypno-Disc. Brutally powerful and brilliant. Next up, an award for Best Design. Fiercely fought this year with our nominations as follows. Anorachophobia, the strong fiberglass shell and rapid fire axe earned David and Miles Kingsbury and Jonathan Metcalf a nomination in this category. The robot even had a chainsaw running on the outer body shell to pull competitors up and over. Terrapin certainly caught Philippa's eye. Sweet it did look, but it did have a nasty bite. Great fun, great design. Well done Keith Jones, Rob Field and Brian Snelling. Razor, a big favourite. Razor is as flamboyant as its owners Simon Scott, Ian Lewis and Vince Blood. And with its phenomenally powerful crushing arm and streamek, it's a strong contender for this award. And finally Cerberus, named after the dog that guards the gates of hell, the demonic destroyer, well engineered and visually stunning. Tough lineup this. But the winner for the second year running is Razor. Well done to them again. Our third award is for the Best Engineered Robot, and our nominations are Chaos 2, George Francis and Ian and Little Richard Swan's reincarnation from the Second Wars, capturing everyone's imagination. Small but penetratingly powerful, Chaos 2 proving a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. Big Cheese, Roger Plant won the Best Engineered Award last year with the Mule. He's nominated again this year with his phenomenal robot, powerful enough to lift a small car. It's a work of art, really. A second award nomination for Razor, with the engineering standards of this great robot, an example to many a robot here, young and old. Strong, powerful and evilly elegant. Can they improve it any more? The Behemoth boys were back again this year, new and improved and soon causing havoc to competitors and house robots alike. Well engineered, very powerful, they're the last of our nominees. And the winner is Chaos 2 for team captain George Francis. And finally, an award to those teams who go that little bit extra to make Robot Wars the fun and the huge spectacle it's become. Our four nominees are Diotior, Peter Redmond, Joe Gavin and Kieran Byrne, returning for the third Wars with Son of Nemesis. Despite having to rebuild their own robot after the customs took it apart, they still found time to help countless other teams, and they certainly kept everyone amused. And our second nomination is...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Sir Chromalot.
Well, they arrived in style. They soon had everyone in stitches with their theme tune and their own little dance. Sir Chromalot. Oh, dear. Do we come back down to earth with the Plunderbird team? Mike Onslow and the Plunder Storm boys really went to town with this. They didn't get far in the competition, but boy, did they try and scare us off. Listen to this.
The forecast bad. You better get running. It's gonna be tough. There's a Plunderstorm coming.
And finally, Ultor, who met Big Brother in their heat final and won on a judge's decision. They later felt it was wrong and gallantly handed victory over to little Joe Watts and the Big Brother team.
We've decided that the judge's decision was wrong, in our opinion, and we're allowing you to go through to the next round.
So, the winners are... For the second year running, doubling up with the trophies from Ireland, the Diotior boys, great guys, richly deserved.
The wars work like this. Our four remaining robots will be paired off for two initial knockout fights. A third and final battle at the end of the show will then decide who's going to be crowned UK Robot Wars Grand Champion.
Craig, this is how they line up in the eliminator round of the grand final. Chaos 2 with its flipping ramp against Firestorm and its flipping arm. Hypno-Disc, a shredding monster, against Steg-O-Saw-Us with its dinosaur tail. All so different, all with the one aim to cause mayhem and chaos. And Philippa's with them in the pits.
If you get through this battle, you will get to the grand final. It really is tense now.
It is. The competition's getting stiffer.
Tense. Tense, how do you feel?
Scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
And you feel that the competition's getting stiffer every time?
Stiffer every time, yes.
It is, of course it is.
Very good robot.
It's whatever happens, it'll be a good fight. two robots that can flip each other and flip flip over again. So it'll be a good fight.
Have you got any aims? I mean, when it says 3, 2, 1, activate, what will be going through your head?
Win.
Win, must win, in a kind of robotic fashion?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Down in the pitch, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. But you know, like I know, that on Robot Wars, we do it with chainsaws. But they've been sharpened, the flames have been lit. Let the final assault begin.
Rising in the cherry pickers, Chaos 2, George Francis, Ian Swan and Richard Swan, and they're the Firestorm boys, Graham Bone and Alex Mordew.
From Ipswich, Chaos 2.
The quicker of the two robots at 20 miles an hour. The CO2-powered high-pressure flip is very, very dangerous. Crocodilitron was first to find that out, sent back to the swamps in the opening battle of this series for Chaos 2. Then Sonic from Hagley High hit an early low, a high, a low. Big G's thought they were fondue for a success, but they were grated. And in the semi-final, Tridented. Look at that flipper power as Trident was beaten. Again, Mace 2 was overturned. Couldn't right itself. The Shremek mechanism so important in this series. Chaos 2 went through. George Francis, a light aircraft pilot in his spare time at the joystick.
From Durham, Firestorm.
They have a Shremek mechanism as well, with its flipping arm. A cordless drill and a lawnmower provided the motors for Firestorm. And an early victim was Crasher Nasher. Stood very little chance. Very little left of it. Facet flipped, but Firestorm recovered. Strong. Too strong, in fact, for Diotior, when Irish eyes are smarting from flames, actually. Again for Diotior. A familiar finale for them. Now, Pitbull said, PTO, please turn over. So, Firestorm obliged. This was a surprise. Panic Attack, the reigning champions, next to fall to Firestorm into the final. A thumbs up then for Graham Bone, a badminton player on the left, and Alex Mordew.
Roboteers, stand by.
And it's Chaos 2 against Firestorm. They're the experienced George Francis, and for Firestorm at the controls, Alex was with the Groundhog team in the second series of Robot Wars. Both quick, nippy, great maneuverability. It's Chaos 2 bumping and barging and turning away side by side, sizing each other up. Chaos 2, ooh! Well, he's seen there to get in and underneath. Firestorm is the way to victory. And Chaos 2, oh! Firestorm!
Cease.
What a way to go! I don't think there's any doubt about that, George Francis. What happened to them? Well, this was over so quickly. We've never seen it before. Out of the arena, out of touch. Out of the final. Chaos 2, delightful. Firestorm, derailed and deranged. Oh, and there's our technical consultants just making sure there's anything left.
The winners, Chaos 2. Wow, that was spectacular, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it amazing? Did you think you'd get that far? With a flipper?
No.
You never thought you'd get them out of the arena, did you?
You weren't supposed to.
I know you weren't supposed to. We all know you weren't supposed to, but you did.
All I can say is, whoops. Sorry. I was trying to smash him against the fence nice and hard, and he sort of went clean over it.
And he went, whoops.
Yeah, I went whoops, yes.
But it's got you through.
Great.
Big whoops. Chaos 2 through to the grand final. Next up, Hypno-Disc and those great survivors, Steg-O-Saw-Us, with Philippa right now on the pitch.
Right, guys, you're in for the final. You're running out of room on there, so is there room to fit a Hypno-Disc as a trophy?
A little bit right at the bottom. Maybe H-disc will probably get around. Yeah. Shorten it down a bit.
Do you have any tattoos? I mean, Hypno-Disc is a pretty mean thing to be up against. I know people in the past have thought, if we can just chop them in the centre of the disc, or you only really have your tail as weaponry.
Well, we just got to keep going at them and hope not give them a chance to run their disc up.
So nag, that's what you're going to try and do, and try and avoid the disc.
Yeah.
Obviously. How thick is your armour? How much damage do you think it will do?
The top and the back will be okay. The sides are a bit greedy.
And never mind the robot, psychologically, how are you all coping?
Oh, stressed.
Yeah. Everything working?
This is all working.
Disc spinning as fast as it should be?
Yes.
Do you know how thick their armour is?
It's thinner than the last opponent, so we should have more of a chance of getting through it this time.
Okay. And they haven't got that much weaponry for you to worry about, so you're feeling quite confident?
Well, I've noticed they've got a lifter at the back, and I think the lifter is actually higher than any part of our robot that can actually lift, so we shouldn't have any problems with that either. Hopefully.
Are you going to go in there and wreak havoc?
Yes. Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, we'll enjoy watching it then. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Sounds as if the Steg-O-Saw-Us boys, Dan King, Peter Rowe and Rob Heisman, are up against it from Dave and Kenneth Rose then.
From Oxford, Hypno-Disc.
That rotating disc spins at 600 revs per minute. One of the deadliest weapons we've ever seen. They used a welder from the NASA Space Shuttle program on this robot. And the first to feel its power, Robogeddon, Armageddon more like. Get on with it, the message, swift and deadly the victory. So cruel, so punishing. We all gaped, including the house robots, the total annihilation. Stealth, bombed. The Roses, a thorny family, it would seem. But I'll tell you what, Berserk 2 proved a tougher nut to crack. It had better armament, a lot tougher than Steg-O-Saw-Us here in the final. And in fact, was a little bit unlucky, Berserk 2. In its victory against Evil Weevil, Hypno-Disc also had to wait. Evil Weevil, staying out of trouble, caused them problems. In the end, the Weevil was mashed by the house robots. But Hypno-Disc suddenly was not as impregnable as we first thought. 101. Very nearly beat it. Close, so close. The closest we've ever had on Robot Wars. The judges examined every inch of the two before giving Hypno-Disc a place in the grand final. Dave Rose, an astronomer in his spare time. Dad Ken, he loves his classic cars.
From Southampton, Steg-O-Saw-Us.
The taller but lighter of the two, its lifting tail with punching spikes, not feared by Hypno-Disc. Will they rue that confidence? Cost £1,500 to build, twice as much as its opponent here. And that was money well spent, as Aurak's revenge was put to the rack, or into the pit actually. Then Henry the Crate Tick was. Picture of Granny on the back didn't help the Henry team. Napalm wasn't torched or burnt, just bashed and smashed. Gravedigger gave the Stegs a chance to show their pushing power and control skills too. Now, Beast of Bodmin, well, this was a surprise exit for the winners of the first series. We didn't think this would happen, but Steg-O-Saw-Us was into the final. And among the heroes for Dan King, Peter Rowe and Rob Heisman, Jimi Hendrix and Mickey Mouse.
Stand by.
Hypno-Disc looks so deadly. They're the Rose Boys, and they're
3,
Steg-O-Saw-Us
2,
and the underdogs.
activate.
Hypno-Disc getting that spinning disc up to speed. But an interesting attack by Steg-O-Saw-Us. On the back door. Now Hypno-Disc almost backing into Matilda in the corner patrol zone. You really don't want to do that, boys. And Steg-O-Saw-Us, likewise, nearly coming head-to-head with Shunt. You go into that corner patrol zone, the house robot can attack you. Trying to stay out of arm's reach. That's good driving by Steg-O-Saw-Us. Spinning quickly. Great maneuverability, but a gash down the side nonetheless. Look at that power and venomous ability of the spinning disc of the Hypno Boys. They turn quickly. A frontal assault, not as dangerous. You can see the puncture mark on the side. Now they crash into the lifting tail, the spiked tail of Steg-O-Saw-Us, which has claimed victim in the past, but not so far in this elimination round for the place in the grand final against Chaos 2. Hypno-Disc's rotating blade has been slowed, and this is a very plucky performance by Steg-O-Saw-Us. Many people thought this would be over in a trice, and again they're on the attack. They're showing good aggression here. Should it go to the judges? I think there's a gouge in the front of Steg-O-Saw-Us. They're trying to get their lifting arm moving and flicking up and down. It's a question of staying out of reach, trying to last in there, hoping that the Hypno-Disc boys drive themselves into the house robots or the pits, I guess. But I think this is a marvellous display against the Rose family by the Steg-O-Saw-Us boys. Is that Hypno blade slightly buckled? I don't know. A tremendous charge coming in there. Turning again. Coming in on the attack, another gouge down the side of Steg-O-Saw-Us. It certainly has sustained far more damage in this elimination round. Have they ground themselves to a halt here? Steg-O-Saw-Us, has it been immobilised? Oh, I don't know. In comes Hypno-Disc again. Look at the great scratches and slices out of the side of Steg-O-Saw-Us. The tail is moving. The tracks are still moving. But there's no control. Look, slammed against the arena wall. And now I think they are dead. The tracks have stopped, they're immobilised, and Hypno-Disc are the winners, and the damage caused there to Steg-O-Saw-Us decisive.
Steg-O-Saw-Us ruled the world for long enough, but Hypno-Disc just spun him into extinction. We now have our two robots who are going to go head-to-head to see who is our Robot Wars Grand Champion.
Is it consigned to the scrap heap?
Yeah, it looks
Yes.
that way.
Yes, it is. You gave them a run for their money, though, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we tried. Yeah, tried. It was just too powerful. Just torn it to pieces.
It did. It did, but it was a fantastic battle.
That was awesome.
It was a run for your money as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're on the losing side for a little while, then we got the disc working, then we pummeled them.
Because at the beginning, was it just working properly?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the way through.
Yeah, that was fine.
It's the noise it makes, though.
Yeah.
And explain what you have to do, because sometimes when it looks like it's slowing down, it's not, is it?
Well, when we've hit the target, the motor is still running fast. In fact, the disc stops. The motor has to be stopped. So I stopped the motor immediately we have a strike. And that started up again very gradually. That's why we sort of back off to the... I shouldn't say this.
Yes, you should.
Our opponents might think... Anyway...
They're not listening.
They're not listening. We back off, get the speed up again and go in. And we took the wheel off one side.
Yeah.
And that was it.
You literally have minutes now before the grand final. What's the problems you're facing?
We've got a problem with the wheel, which we have to sort out.
And anything else?
Quick change to the batteries.
Because we flattened them on that battery, it was quite strong. A lot of effort went in and it's going to draw the battery down, so we'll have to change the batteries and have a look at that wheel.
Because when you get to this stage, it's not just how good is your robot, it's how well it can stand the...
Shows how close Steg-O-Saw-Us came, though, but it's Hypno-Disc flying through to meet Chaos 2 in the final, and while they repair, Craig, get your shin pads on!
While our finalists take a much-needed oil change, let's turn our attention to another less serious, but no less brutal battle. It's been raging over the course of the series. It's final day for our Robotic Soccer Cup. The tackles have been hard, the fouls have been very foul, and the referee's been back in therapy. But now only the fiercest players remain, and a golden goal is all that stands between them and the footballing Hall of Shame. Let the trials begin.
An attacking formation, 4-0-1-4 robots competing against dead metal there in goal. The first goal, the golden goal, wins it. Oh, and the other house robots can come in too. There's Matilda, there's Bash. And there's the General, the first of our finalists. Took 3 months to build, electric driven, has a front lifting arm for control, an aluminium body shell. And the team, Alan, Tom and Hayden James. This is how the General got to this final. Great power and pace down the wing. Matilda came to block, slipped the challenge, and into the net. Next up, Nasher. Powered by wheelchair motors, 79.2 kilos. The body tilts up completely, and it's got a powered jaw for control. Mark Bailey and Stephen Brady at the controls. Watch for the guiding jaws to bring the ball into control, off the side, rebound walls, and tucked it into the corner of the net to make the final. Velociripper, very quick, basically a battering ram with front and rear spiked bumpers. Cost £125 to build this. Trevor and Matthew Wright, the team. Watch for this dreadful defending by Matilda, and in nips Velociripper. Route one through the middle, but never pass the ball square along your back for Matilda. You should know that from the football coaching manual. And Velociripper tore in. And finally, Evil Weevil. With the electric-operated spikes, a ballistic fiberglass body shell, £400 to build over 3 months. Kevin Pritchard was a member of the victorious Panic Attack in the last series, Mike Walsh and Andrew Davis with him. Now, they didn't score in their qualifying heat, squeezed out by Dead Metal and Matilda, but they were the last surviving robot, and they went through to this final. Evil Weevil. Forget your Jules Rimet Trophy. Forget your European Champions League. This is the big one. The Robot Wars Robotic Soccer Cup Final.
Stand by.
They're from Wales, the General and Nasher and Velociripper and Evil Weevil. Velociripper with the speed, 20 miles an hour, like a little dashing winger. Nasher. Ooh, the front prong of Nasher there on the right seems to have been bent back already. That could affect its ball control. Matilda comes in. Normally Matilda's defences are down, actually, which isn't a very pleasant thought for anyone. Velociripper, I think, is burnt out. Is that a gouge down the side as well? Nasher, steady progress. Matilda, nippy challenge. Would make a good fullback, one feels, with that speed. Bit of a midfield General. They're the boys from Wales at the controls of the General. Evil Weevil is still motoring into the corner. They need to get the ball out of there. Sparks flying off the front of Evil Weevil, and indeed off the ball itself, heavily studded there off the arena wall. In came the General with a little bash on the back of Matilda, slamming it off the body of Matilda again. The General and Nasher come together with a block challenge. It's the General who comes away, but the scoop used only to push the ball against the arena wall. Very little control out there. Someone needs to put a prong or a blade on the ball, boys, and just bring this game under control. Matilda doing a guarding job, bit of a destructive job. A destroyer more than a creator, Matilda. I wonder if Matilda prefers the Catenaccio system. Well, certainly Nasher takes a sort of a Franco Baresi type challenge and is flung over. This is Matilda bobbling the ball beyond Evil Weevil. Evil Weevil's still alive. I'm not too sure about the other robots here in this final. The General, slow movement. Velociripper long gone. Nasher's out of it. They need to bounce that ball off the arena wall. Matilda takes a chunk out of one of the arena blades. Matilda now just trying to push the ball along the side. It's come back into free play. Chance for Evil Weevil. Couldn't take advantage though. Slow to react. You're going the wrong way. That's it. Turn back. There's the goal. Remember the thing between the posts and the net. Ball goes in. Object of the game. What ball? Well, great balls of fire. At the moment, who's going to get there? The ball's on fire. This can only happen in Robot Wars, let's be honest. The ball in the final of the Soccer Cup bursting into flames. Someone's got to score quickly here. Nash is on its side. Who's left still mobile? Who will get the decision? The judges have to decide. Well, it was Velociripper's first speed, but I think that did something to the engines, burnt out, immobilised. Nasher, an early touch that looked cultured. Yeah, Velociripper was finished. Matilda played a massive role here, shielding the ball away from the house robots, but stopping them scoring, so therefore doing her job and doing it well. Evil Weevil tried to take out Nasher and succeeded. So good aggression from Evil Weevil. And do you know, I think that could be the most decisive part played in this entire final by Evil Weevil. And it was! Evil Weevil, crowned champions, robotic soccer kings. Well done, Kevin Pritchard, Mike Walsh and Andrew Davis.
Yes, got the wheel on.
Right.
It's not pretty.
No, but it doesn't matter
worked.
at this stage, does it? Will you be happy with everything when you go in? I mean, you're not going in kind of with some guns missing, or you're going in complete and happy, yeah?
The bit that matters is at the front, and that's all right.
Okay, cool. Are you worried about this flipper?
Yes.
I knew you would be.
That's,
I knew you would
that's
be.
our worst nightmare.
I know, you've said it all along. That's your phobia.
Yeah. And we've got him. Do our best.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay, I'll let you get on.
The finals. What's it called? Heads or tails?
Heads.
It's heads. Which
Good
side
boy.
do you want to go?
Well done.
George.
That's all.
No, that's George.
Lovely.
Yeah, you want to go?
Magic. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
okay,
magic.
fine. You go first.
Okay, minutes to go. Well, less than minutes to go. Please try and describe to me how you feel. It's the biggest Robot Wars ever.
Yep.
And you've made it to the grand final.
Yep.
That feels magic, actually,
Yeah.
to get to the final. Win or lose, it's really good. I'm really enjoying myself.
But you are up against the wreaker of havoc.
Yes, he has demolished so many people, he's got me worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, can I flip him before he wrecks me?
Will you be able to keep a clear head, do you think?
I'll do my best. I hope so.
You have done so far.
Yep, yep. Better than last year.
Yeah.
I panicked a bit last year, but they've got the hang of it this year.
Tough fight to get here.
Well, it's been tough all the while, I think. The first few rounds were probably a little bit easier, but then it got very much harder.
As the robots got better.
Yeah. No, I think we've got our hardest yet.
From a little model that you found on the dining room table to the grand final of Robot
Can't believe
Wars.
it. Yeah.
Okay, in you go. They're calling for you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Thank you.
It was Dave's little boy who designed Hypno-Disc. Quick mention for brother Derek as well, who was a big part of the team. Pushed towards the arena for the grand final. Chaos 2 enters now the vision of the fans in the arena. Will start as the favourite. Has the fan club. And there the sleek and silver Hypno-Disc. Ken Rose pushing it in, 68 years of age, a keen gardener. This is the grand final of Robot Wars.
Roboteers, stand by.
Chaos 2 with the flipper, formidable. At the controls, George Francis, Ian Swan and Richard Swan there as well. Hypno-Disc with Dave and Kenneth Rose. The disc against the flipper, the speed of Chaos 2. The best two robots in the series have survived. The cream has risen to the top. Stay away from that flipper. Hypno-Disc with a low ground clearance, 23 millimetres, but that might not be enough. Slamming in reverse. Comes Chaos 2. The flipper up and over, and stopping there for a moment, the spinning disc. Look at this. Now, has that in any way damaged the flipper of Chaos 2? I think it may have done. No, backs away, Chaos 2. Comes in on the attack again. You heard Kenneth saying they have to stop the motors in order to get the spinning disc rotating again. Very near the flame pit, but that, I don't think, will bother either of these two robots. They have plenty of armament. Oh! Flipped up and over. Chaos 2 has won the final. Flipping Hypno-Disc. The fears have proven true for the Hypno-Disc boys. Chaos 2 came in, got underneath the disc ironically, flipped up and over, and Chaos 2 are the worthy winners of Robot Wars, the champions. Crowned as Hypno-Disc lies battered and beaten, the house robots close in. There's a kill-a-lot. George Francis will try and keep Chaos 2 away from Matilda, and attacks Matilda now. You can see the chainsaws come off the back of Matilda. What an untidy and ghastly sight she makes. Shunt, try to get away from Chaos 2, and why not? The champions want to beat everyone. Taking on Shunt and flipping Shunt over. So 2 of the house robots done. Off comes Shunt's exhaust stack. Chaos 2 once more, toying with the house robots and destroying them. This is great fun, but they will be back, of course, and revenge will be in their hearts for the champions in the next. But George Francis and his team, magnificent champions.
Well, chaos by name, chaos by nature. Have you ever seen such total carnage? Not only did he take on Hypno-Disc, he took on the house robots and beat them as well. Let's hear it for the UK Robot Wars champion, Chaos 2!
There's your trophy. Be careful, it could do you some damage.
How do you feel?
Very excited. It's been a tremendous battle. We've really enjoyed it.
It's been a long old haul, hasn't it?
It certainly has, yeah. 1 or 2 scares, but, you know, great stuff.
Richard was asking what his mum would think. I think she's going to be very, very proud. We're witnessing a new league of robot. What was it that made your robot so special, do you think?
The awesome flip-up and all the hard work we put into it.
I think so too. Congratulations, guys.
Once again, Chaos 2, the new UK Robot Wars champions. Give it up! Well, we don't like losers.
We don't like draws.
We found a winner on Robot Wars. Bye-bye.